What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it's New Year's Eve. Who wouldn't want to ring in the new year with some horrible, horrible details about the incident that happened to the Idaho University kids? Uh, I think it's important. It's interesting. A lot of people are interested in this case. I find myself, like last night, just fascinated, wondering who is this guy? How did, was this planned? It certainly seemed planned to me. Um, there was some interesting Chan posts going around purportedly from this guy. They were a little vague to me, but there's a lot of new details of this individual who was attending school in the time afterwards, and people were saying, oh, he was all chipper after the event. Absolutely insane. So here's kind of up to the minute new details that we have after yesterday's press conference. Also, make sure, if you're interested in this case, make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be covering it as each kind of bucket of news gets revealed. So you're not going to want to miss a video. So make sure you click that subscribe button down below. And also at the end of this video, we'll have, I've been putting some subscriber viewer shout out videos at the end. We'll do that in this video too. So the Idaho incident suspect chatty and cheered up after the event. More before remaining deadpan and quiet before the incident. Classmates of the Idaho piece of garbage have said he became more chatty in their criminology class after November's incident, but turned silent when the actual event were discussed. I also read on another website that during his arrest, he asked the cops if, quote, anyone else had been arrested. I'm not going to say his name. Loser piece of garbage was taken into custody by the Pennsylvania State PD on Friday morning, more than 2,000 miles where the four university students lived. Students who attend Washington State University with the loser were shocked to learn that the quiet man in their classrooms was the prime suspect in the incident. B.K. Norton, who was in the same criminal justice graduate program with him, said classmate appeared to be more animated and talkative following the incident. He seemed more upbeat and willing to carry a conversation, she told the New York Times. It's interesting. But Norton noted that all his enthusiasm would go away when he would become quiet and deadpan when the class would discuss the actual case. I don't believe he had any reaction, Norton said in the New York Post, saying it was odd because everyone else was glued to the case and speculated on the lack of public information. We had quite a long conversation in class about it. I don't believe I remember him commenting on it at all. He, of course, faces 4 counts now. Norton told the New York papers that her class was in shock over his arrest, describing him as a smart, quiet student with an interest in forensic psychology. What's interesting, though, Norton, however, added that he kept a distance from his classmates due to anti-LGBTQ comments he allegedly made in class. Oh my God, of course that has to make the papers. He sort of creeped people out because he stared and didn't talk much. But when he did, it was very intelligent, and he needed everyone to know he was smart, Norton told the Times. Another student who spoke with the Times under the condition of anonymity backed up Norton's claim and said that he didn't have many friends at the school because of the alleged offensive remarks. Ben Roberts, another classmate, echoed the suspect's usual quiet nature in class, but said his demeanor changed after the event. He started showing up really tired. Roberts told the Seattle Times he'd always have a cup of coffee in his hand, and he was kind of looked like he was riding the knife's edge between worn out and completely exhausted. I imagine he hadn't been sleeping well. She told how the last time she had spoken with him was 5 years ago. They ran into their wedding back in blah, blah, blah. So don't really care about this necessarily. Casey's brother Thomas described him as a bully who would happily note his friend's flaws and insecurities in order to distract from his own weight struggles. He did that to me all the time, Thomas told the Daily Beast. He would go after my intelligence. He would basically insinuate that I'm some kind of slow-witted and that I'm forgetful and I lack intelligence to be his friend. He also was a vegan, by the way. Prior to attending Washington State, he was a student at DeSales University, where he learned all about forensic psychology and from famed criminologist Catherine Ramsland. You know what's interesting also? So, we found out that he's a vegan now. That would probably explain a lot of his douchiness. But, you have, I'm kidding, vegans, I'm kidding. Don't show up. Don't come and me. You eat all the vegetables you want. Somebody's got to. So in Friday's arrest, the first major break in the case, he asked if anyone else was arrested when taken into custody. An extradition hearing is scheduled for Tuesday. Now, what's interesting, was there an accomplice? One person goes to one floor, another person goes to another floor. Maybe that's how you got it done so quick. Kohberger, the loser, is a registered libertarian. Why does that matter? Although he does not appear to have any active social media profiles at the time of his arrest. Oh, man. God, they wanted him to be a Trump voter so bad. He also had no priors, according to public records, so it's unclear how officials... So here's one of the weird things, okay? He had no priors, which means he had no fingerprints or DNA on file, yet the investigators were able to match his DNA. So maybe, it's unclear, but I think there's some possibles, like maybe they found some unknown DNA on the door handles or whatever, and then he was a suspect, so maybe they raided his house and matched it that way. Maybe they had gone to his residence first. Perhaps. It's interesting. Profiler claims a criminology PhD student charged was well aware of his dark nature and his thirst to end life, but academic arrogance was actually his downfall. I suspect that he was well aware of his dark nature and ideations and his endeavor to discover more about himself through his studies, says Enzo Yaksik, a criminal profiler and founder of the Atypical research group in Boston, in an email to Daily Mail. But pursuing an advanced degree to become a better criminal is a foolhardy exercise. He added, as nothing more is learned about such tactics and strategies that can be found on a popular podcast or a true crime book. If he is an aspiring Bundy who desired to commit the perfect crime, he quickly learned what many have discovered in the modern age. It is far more difficult to get away with this than when Ted was active. Well, yeah, I mean, the idea that, the most like serial people are like, pharmacological companies nowadays, or your government, or, overeating. These are things that are more effective at ending large groups of people. The idea that you could carry on these crimes undetected for months or years, like had happened in many years ago, is just not possible anymore with social media, cameras everywhere, Ring doorbell cameras. So obviously technology. Perhaps this wasn't his first rodeo, though. That's what I'm suspecting, is that maybe maybe it'll turn out that he idealized Ted Bundy or something like that. But going into a house with 6 residents, I mean, he pulled it off allegedly. Well, I mean, the actual incident, but did he though? Maybe if I was gonna go about this, I probably wouldn't start with going into a house of 6 people. Probably would start. So maybe there's other victims out there. SWAT teams descended on a sleepy Poconos mountain town to catch the libertarian. Again, why is the first thing in the description of the guy his political affiliation? It's pathetic and it's disgusting. Okay? He was obsessively vegan and looked drugged at school. He was OCD about veganism and forced his family to buy new pots. Couldn't have any pots that meat was ever cooked in. I mean, it was, he says he was above and beyond being vegan. His aunt and uncle had to buy new pots and pans because he would not eat from anything that had ever cooked meat. That's not really vegan. Like that's so the guy is like, I bet you he was super clean, probably all this stuff. And they are saying now, Kaylee's father said that his daughter had, quote, connections to him. Now, what's interesting is in the Chan post, the anonymous Chan post, he mentioned Kaylee and what he had did with the knife. Now, I don't know what the connection is. Maybe they dated. I don't know. He's 28. She was, 21 or something like that. It's not that crazy. But Steve, the father of Kaylee and family, had begun digging up clues linking her with the suspect. Once police told Steve and the family the identity of the suspect, he said his loved ones got to work trying to find answers onto why Kaylee and her friends were targeted. He said the family yet to have started to see connections between the two, but he wasn't ready to share them. Now that the person and name someone can specifically be on the look for, if there's any connection anyway, they're just trying to figure it out. I'm not sure if they, followed each other on social media or, what the particular case is. They found links between them, but I don't know exactly what those were. After he's extradited on Tuesday, and I suspect he won't make it to trial. That's just my prediction now. We'll have to wait and see. Usually these people, if he is like a worshiper or a serial type individual, he will probably want to go to trial, and he may represent himself like Ted did. He may relish in the fame. If he's not into that, he's not making it to trial. That's just my suspicion. You let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If there's anything new that I missed, definitely leave that down there. And here's a video from a viewer of the channel I wanted to highlight before the end of the year.
Hey everybody, my name is Paul, and when I was 13 years old, I moved from New York City to Florida. My dad had passed away, and I had to go down to Florida with my mother to help take care of my grandfather. Well, there's no greater transition than moving from New York City to Florida. Fish out of water, got bullied a little bit. But one of the great benefits of me moving down to Florida is I met a group of people who, at 13 years old, invited me to their house and taught me how to play this game, Dungeons & Dragons. And it was such a powerful experience that I wound up playing for the next 40 years. Another thing I did last year is I became what is called a therapeutic game master, which means I work with therapists and others who want to use Dungeons & Dragons and role-playing games as a intervention for veterans with PTSD or maybe teenagers with anxiety, and I design games to help facilitate healing in their lives. So I feel like I've rolled a natural 20 in my life because this game has taught me so much about using imagination. It has taught me so much about community, and that is what I strive to do today. I try to build community with people and show them the potential of using their imagination. If you're interested in playing Dungeons & Dragons, I'd love to teach you. I'm sure these guys will put all my links down in the doobly-doo there, and check it out and see if it's something for you. Thanks, Jeremy, for allowing me to share my story, and I wish all of you a very happy new year.